Hi, this is Ethan here from mydrawingtutorials.com and welcome to the fourth video in this lesson series on how to draw perspective. So just as a quick recap, in the previous lesson we covered the basic components of a perspective drawing and also what one-point perspective is and how it works. And just in case you missed the previous lessons, you can click the link on the screen to watch them. Or you can also click the link right below this video as well. Okay, so in this lesson, I'm going to take you through a step-by-step drawing exercise for one-point perspective so you can apply what you learned in yesterday's lessons in actual drawing. Okay, so let's get to the exercise. So in this video, we're going to be going over how to draw this basic illustration here step by step. And it's basically just a simple cube in one-point perspective but drawn in various positions. The first thing you do with any perspective drawing is to establish the horizon line, and we want the horizon line to be pretty much right in the middle of the paper. So I'm just going to take my ruler, and if this is a 8.5 inch long, then the horizon line should fall at about the 4.25 mark. So I'm just going to mark that point right there and then draw the horizon line. So now that we have the horizon line, it's time to establish the vanishing point, and we want the vanishing point to be right in the middle of the horizon line. So if this line here is 11 inches long, then the vanishing point should lie right at the 5.5 inch mark. So that's going to be right there. Just going to put a dot there to mark it. So now let's draw the first cube, and we're going to make this cube 2 inches by 2 inches. And we're always going to draw the front side of the cube first. So I'm going to mark out where the horizontal line should be. And remember, I want that cube to sit so that the vanishing point is right at its center. So I'm going to take my ruler and line it up so that the inch mark is in line with the vanishing point, so that I can mark out 1 inch on either side. So here's the 1 inch mark, and here's the 1 inch mark. So now I know where to put my verticals. Now I'm just going to turn my ruler sideways, line it up so the inch mark is hitting the horizon line, and draw in a line that is 1 inch this way and 1 inch the other way. And do the same thing for this side. Okay, so now let's just connect these two horizontal edges, and we have the first side completed. So this is going to be the front side of the cube, the side that's going to be closest to you. Now it's time to draw in the back side of the cube. And to figure out where we want to put it, first we're going to take each one of these four corners and draw a converging line towards the vanishing point. And we'll keep these lines light because they're just for guidelines for now, and we'll darken them in once we have the final cube all drawn up. So here comes the tricky part. Now you need to determine where exactly on this line to start drawing the back side of the cube. Now if you put the back side, if you draw it say like this, very small and close to the vanishing point, it's going to make it look like a very long rectangle. Whereas if you put it nearer to the edge right here, it's going to make it look very shallow. So this is where your artistic judgment come in to place that back side so that this look like a cube. And I usually like to put it right around this mark right here. And now let's darken in these guiding lines here to flush out the cube. Alright, so that's it for the first cube. It's a tricky little image, and you might not see it right away, but if you look at it for a while, you'll see that this is the front edge, this is the back edge, and here's the inner edge of the cube converging towards the vanishing point. So I'm just going to shade in the front side of the cube just to make it a little bit easier to interpret. Alright, so now let's draw the same cube except positioned slightly to the left over here. Once again, we're going to start by drawing the front side of that cube, and I want the front side of that cube to be about 2 inches from this edge. So I'm going to take my ruler, line it up at that point, and then draw a line that is 2 inches tall, and then do the same for over here. And now we'll just connect the two edges and to form the complete front side. Alright, so now that we have the front side of the cube, it's time to take each of these four corners and draw a converging line back to the vanishing point. And those lines are going to help guide us to draw the back side of the cube. Alright, so now let's draw in the back side of the cube. And once again, here's where your judgment comes in. Since this is a cube and we have shifted to the left a little bit, we should be able to see a tiny bit of the side of the cube. So I'm going to put it right here. You might have to go through a little bit of trial and error, and sometimes you're going to put your edge somewhere over here, and then once you're done you decide that doesn't look like a cube. So you have to readjust and put it a little bit closer and just play with it until you get a sense for where to draw the line. But I think if you put that line right here, you're gonna do pretty well. So you want to make sure, it can be a little confusing with all these guiding lines to know where to draw that straight line to. So the trick is to always look at the corner. So here's this corner, and that corner is connected to this line. So I want to draw the line from this point to this line here, which is connected to this corner. So you always want to keep it from corner to corner and not mix match the two. So this corner joins with this corner, and this corner, the lines that connects to it, joins with this corner and the lines that connect to it. So we're going to go from here to here. Alright, so now that you have that edge, it's time to take this point right here, the point that intersects these two lines, and draw a straight line from here until you intersect with this line here. Okay, so once you hit that point, it's going to form an intersection, and now we're going to take that point and draw a perfectly vertical line down until it hits this line right there. And now lastly, it's time to connect this point with this point, and if you were diligent in keeping your ruler perfectly straight and horizontal, then the two lines should line up. If it doesn't, don't worry about it. It's not the end of the world. Just be more careful next time. And even if it doesn't perfectly line up, your cube will still look right. No one will really be able to tell the difference. Alright, so now that we have the cube drawn in, time to darken the line so that it will pop out more. And now we'll just shade in the front side of the cube to give it some dimension. And let's shade in the side of the cube too, but we'll make it slightly lighter than the front side. Alright, so now let's draw in another cube right underneath here. And for this one, since we don't have as much space going this way on the paper, I'm only going to make the distance between the two cubes 1 inch long. So I'm just going to line the ruler up with that, measure out 1 inch worth of distance, and then begin from there and go down 2 inches. And do the same thing on this side. Now we'll just connect the two edges. Alright, so now let's take these four corners and draw a line back to the vanishing point. Alright, so now time to establish the back side of the cube. Now remember, when we drew this cube, it was 2 inches worth of distance from the original, and so that allowed us to see this much of the side of the cube. When drawing this cube, it's only 1 inch away from the original now, so theoretically we should only see a little bit less of the top of the cube. So if we saw this much with 2 inch worth of distance, then we should see a little less with only 1 inch of distance. So I'm actually going to put that edge for the back side of the cube about right here. So now that you have that edge established, it's time to draw a line from this point here until it intersects with this line. And now I draw a line from this point until it connects with this line. Now we'll just connect these two lines together. And we are done. So now let's just darken the lines. And we'll shade in the front edge of the cube. And just for the fun of it, I'm actually going to leave the top side of the cube unshaded so that it looks almost like an empty open box. And this just shows how you can create different effects with your drawing by deciding how to shade it. And finally, we're going to draw in our last cube right in this area right here, as if it was levitating above the ground on the right. So once again, I want it to be about 2 inches of distance from our original cube, and I'll just have it levitating 2 inches off the ground. So I'll just count out 2 inches, and I'll begin right here and draw a straight line 2 inches long. Do the same for this side, and then connect the edges. Alright, so now I think you know what to do. We're just going to connect the 4 corners back to the vanishing point. And now it's time to establish the back side of the cube. So I'm just going to pick this point right here, and then we'll just darken the lines. And at this point, I'm just going to shade in the front side. And now I'm going to shade in the bottom side of the cube really dark to simulate the fact that light isn't hitting the bottom edge. And now we'll just do a light shade for the side. So there you have it. That's the exercise. Hopefully it gave you a good idea of how to draw one-point perspective and also how shading can affect the look of an object. Okay, so that's basically a simple exercise for drawing one-point perspective. Go ahead and practice with it until you feel comfortable. And in tomorrow's lesson, we're going to move on to something more advanced, and I'll show you how to construct an entire room in one-point perspective. As always, if you're already subscribed to my free drawing newsletter, just watch your inbox for an email from me tomorrow. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please be sure to do that now. It's free and very easy. All you have to do is go to mydrawingtutorials.com/perspective, or you can simply click on the link below and enter your email into the new page that pops up. So thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends using the social sharing buttons on this page. So have fun drawing, and I'll see you tomorrow.